Okay, let's talk about the Jessica and Jimmy situation on Love is Blind Season 6. We'll get into the square, so swipe up if you don't want any spoilers. I felt so bad for Jessica. She was all in and gave Jimmy so much of her heart. However, Jimmy was battling with his feelings for Chelsea and Jessica. And he just wasn't direct and upfront with Jessica because he needed more time. He wanted to sleep on it. But he was much more direct and honest with Chelsea. I didn't really think it was necessary when Laura told Jessica that Jimmy's not her person, because she didn't say the whole reasoning why. She left her more confused. It was never her place to butt in, so the fact that she did and then didn't give all the information just made it harder for Jessica. Or maybe it prepared her for what was to come, because Jimmy was ready to break her heart. I was crying when she was like, "You're gonna choke on your EpiPen, you're gonna regret this." Jessica deserves better. She literally gave her whole heart, and I loved that TikTok she just did with her daughter. So then Chelsea and Jimmy chose each other, and he proposed, which means that she had to now break up with Trevor. Trevor was like, "You're really gonna pick another guy who wasn't sure about you when I was 100%? You could tell it was so hard for Chelsea because she knew she might have been making the wrong decision. She let Trevor walk away. Such a good guy. Why didn't Trevor and Jessica ever link up? I feel like they would be so good together. I probably missed something in the very beginning, but seeing these two now leave single, they make so much more sense together. Jimmy and Chelsea are going to be a train wreck. I mean, we are going to be sad for the rest of the season. I'm halfway through episode 5 right now, but this is going to explode. It's going to be great TV, and it's not going to work. But I guess time will tell. Let me know what you guys thought of the whole Love is Blind Season 6 situation in the comments below. Okay, so I finally finished episode 6 of Love is Blind, so here are the couples that I think are going to make it out of the 5 engaged couples. So 100% I'm rooting for Clay and AD. I loved the moment when they first saw each other. They were all over each other, and their love seems so pure, and they also seem like they're so in it. Brittany and Kenneth definitely have some obstacles ahead of them. Kenneth did say this is the first white woman he's ever dated. The teaser showed that he is going to get a little distant when they get back home, so I'm actually worried about them. Jeremy and Laura have no shot, nor am I rooting for them. They're just different people. They're gonna get on each other's nerves, and the teaser of him and Sarah Ann was very telling. If he was hanging out with Sarah Ann until 5 a.m., she needs to leave him. I feel like we haven't seen much of Johnny and Amy, and I think that's because they're actually going to make it work, and we're gonna see more of them in later episodes. They seem like they don't have as many issues as the other couples, so I'm rooting for them. And for the love of God, I hope that this does not last between Jimmy and Chelsea. Definitely not rooting for them. Definitely think they both made the wrong decision. Definitely think that Jimmy was being very disrespectful at that Dominican Republic party, completely ignoring her the whole entire night. The teaser showed maybe them reconnecting, but I still want to see this happen between Trevor and Jessica. I do not want Jessica to give Jimmy another chance. Jimmy does not deserve to find love on this show. Let me know what you guys think in the comments and who you think will make it down the aisle. So who has started watching the new episodes of Love is Blind that dropped last night? Episodes 7, 8, and 9 have dropped, so let's talk about episode 7. So we kind of picked up where we left off with Jimmy and Chelsea fighting in the Dominican Republic. Somehow they were able to make up and make amends, but it's only a matter of time before this explodes. Kenneth and Brittany had a lot of conversations about moving forward, but Kenneth is still really nervous about introducing Brittany to his friends and family because she is the first white woman he's ever dated. Amy and Johnny had a conversation about waiting to sleep together until after the wedding because she is not on birth control. And Johnny does not want an unplanned pregnancy because he's just not ready yet. Clay and AD had a little bit of difficulties because he doesn't want to let her down. He's worried because his father was a cheater and every black man in his life that he looked up to was a cheater. And Laura and Jeremy also made up after he threatened to leave the DR. But we all know the Sarah Ann thing is coming. If you guys have started watching the new episodes, let me know your thoughts in the comments, especially on episode 7 since this is an episode 7 recap. Jeremy and Laura from Love is Blind are truly on their last leg. I watched up to episode 9, and they left us on a cliffhanger with Laura confronting Jeremy about hanging out with Sarah Ann until 5 a.m. Sarah Ann was another girl in the pods Jeremy was talking to during the pods, but he ultimately chose Laura. And as soon as they got engaged, I never believed it. I was never behind it. They were at each other's throats in the DR. And, he met her family and, she brought up the DM. So Sarah Ann sent Jeremy a DM basically saying like, hey, don't know if it's working out between you and your girl, but just letting you know like I'm here. And then Jeremy like double tapped it to like acknowledge it, and then he took his phone and ran to tell Laura. Well, now we're here a few days later, and he is caught hanging out with Sarah Ann until 5 a.m. And he admits it, and he said, well, you had my location. You could just like track me and stalk me so you know where I am. He was at Sarah Ann's house, probably doing some things like cheating. You don't just stay up all night with your ex until 5 a.m. if something else isn't going on. They do not need that much closure. They literally met behind a wall. Justice for Laura, but also like Laura should have known better, because like this was never working out, like literally ever. But if he cheated on her, that's screwed up. And Sarah Ann is so messy too, to like impose on someone else who's engaged. But then again, they're making a TV show, so thank you, Sarah Ann, for stirring it up and exposing Jeremy for what he is. And what he is someone who is not happy in his relationship and is trying to find a way out, just like Jimmy from Jimmy and Chelsea. At least these two have broke up. I mean, Kenneth broke up with her because he realized that she wasn't the one. They're working on things, and they're working on things. But I'm just saying, between Jimmy and Jeremy, it's so obvious through the screen that they're like not happy and they're pretending.